Roundup, the episode a week where we get into the mess that we consumed. And there was mess to get into. So I want to start this off by talking about the Blind Side drama. Yes, in the year 2023, we're still talking about the Blind Side. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was forced to watch that movie so much in high school on movie days. Between that and Remember the Titans, I don't think I've watched it in probably, I've been out of high school 13 years now. That's how long. Okay, it was shoved down our throats. And a lie. So, it came out this week that Michael Orr was actually never adopted by the Tooheys, that family, the white family in the movie. Instead, he had signed papers making them his conservators. And I mean like a conservatorship as in comparable to Britney Spears, apparently. Yeah. Scammers. Not only is he not making the money from the movie based on his life that he should be making, they set their children up, their biological children up, to make the money, better money than he is making from his story. Where's the shame? Like, at what point do we bring shame into the conversation, right? Because I find it funny that they tried to say, oh, he signed papers and he knew what he was signing. Well, let y'all tell it, okay? Per the movie, the way this young man came to you, he could barely spell. That's the way they portrayed it. And they cleared that up. When I say they, I mean Michael. Cleared that up pretty early that, the way it was portrayed in the movie that, he was failing classes, he could barely read, he wasn't playing sports, so that wasn't true. He was already playing sports, he was doing very well in school. It was added in there, whether that was by the Tooheys or not, who knows. But yeah, they never actually adopted him, he just signed off to make them his conservators. And they set up their biological children. And then there was another story that came out about the mom of that family, kind of like approaching two other younger black men and kind of trying to make it seem like she was helping them. She had posted a status on Facebook, something like that. Again, where's the shame? Where's the shame? Because why are you doing this? I know why you're doing it. Okay, I know why you're doing it, but shame! Shame! We must find it. The thing that I want to touch on, really though, is the Sandra Bullock of it all. I need y'all to leave Sandy B alone. Gracie Lou Freebush is going through a lot right now. She just lost her life partner, right? Why y'all are calling for that lady's Oscar to be removed is beyond me. Because, listen, hear me out. Sandy B did her job, which was to portray the person we thought, I think her name is Leanne Toohey. I don't fucking know. I don't care. Mrs. Toohey. She did her job. What Mrs. Toohey and anybody else presented to her, that's not her problem. That's really not her problem. Okay? The Academy gave her the award. She played the part. She played it well. Okay? Let her keep it. We gotta leave her alone. Any problem we need to take up with that story is with the Tooheys. Okay? It's with them. Sandy B got to stay out of this. She need to be in therapy somewhere. All right? She has never done anything to us. I don't think she knew a lick of anything about any of this. So, we got to leave her alone. Speaking of scammers, Britney Spears getting a divorce from that man. Now, I don't want to see anybody get a divorce, right? However, I do feel more comfortable now fully expressing that I always thought that man was a scammer. But I had to keep my mouth shut because I didn't want the Spears gang. What do her fans call themselves? Britney Spears stands. I didn't want them coming for me. Okay? Because I remember I saw somebody voice that one time and they were like, why can't Britney just be happy? I'm not saying that. I actually want nothing but the best for Britney Spears. Nothing but the best. I pray for her. I just didn't believe in him. He was giving scammer, and look at us now. Look at us now. However, you know what I love? There is nothing I love more than women protecting themselves. There is nothing more romantic to me than a prenup. Because he is coming into that marriage, or leaving that marriage the same way he came in. And I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And he's trying to flap his gums a little bit, but go, please, quickly, with great haste, away from Brit. She don't need none of this. Have y'all not stressed that woman out enough? Oh my gosh. She's lived a life. Please. I'm just glad he's not leaving with anything. Honestly, truly. It brings my heart joy to know that he is not leaving with any of her money, any of her assets. Get your shit and get to stepping. I love it. Now, I know some of you may be expecting me to get into the whole Bethany, Rachel podcast interview. I have nothing else for those ladies. I simply have nothing else for those two women. Godspeed. Everything I had to say, I said on my podcast this week. I said on TikTok. So if you want to hear any of that, if you missed it, it's over there. I simply can't anymore. Okay? Simply can't. Moving on into Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm going to keep saying it, obviously, until we get to the reunion where we see that Drew has finally separated from Ralph. It's so sad to watch. Because one thing you absolutely cannot deny, that Drew was committed, dedicated to making that marriage work. And I think that's part of what makes seeing it crumble so bad. The other part is, quite frankly, what an asshole Ralph is. Just simply an asshole. Honestly, truly. This is what I have to say about it. If Ralph no longer wanted to see that therapist that they were seeing, totally understand that. However, the way he speaks to Drew in general, disgusting. But the way he speaks about therapy as if he's smarter than therapy. Like he's up here and therapy is down here. He's mentioned something like, oh yeah, I could keep going to therapy, but like I would rather do the work. You can do the work while being in therapy, because last time I checked, you were not a therapist, Ralph Pittman. And I know every single time he mentions working, I do ask, what is he working on? But I know what he's not working on, and that is mental health. What he's not working on is a degree in psychiatry. I know that's not his job. So, and it just seems like he's always dedicated to embarrassing her. Listen, I understand that he walked in and, you know, maybe all of the ladies were standing before he got to Drew. That's still your wife. Excuse me, ladies. So good to see you. I got to come give my wife some smooches and some hugs really quickly. You see how easy that was? It hurts me to watch. Y'all know Drew is not my favorite housewife, especially not my favorite housewife on Atlanta. But it's painful to watch somebody get treated this way. Oh, I hate it. Stinks. Okay. The only other memorable thing that I had from Real Housewives of Atlanta this week, I know y'all saw Sheree and Sonya arguing on the after show. So apparently, Sheree had Martell threw Sheree a birthday dinner and was asking people for cash apps for their portion of the bill. And listen, this is how I feel about it. I don't have anywhere near housewife money. I have nowhere near housewife money. Therefore, if I have a birthday dinner, it's very much so implied that everybody is paying for themselves. There's not even a question about that. I really do not have an answer on whether or not I think Martell should have paid for everybody, because these are rich people problems. Maybe I shouldn't call them rich. They're rich compared to me, right? And I know Sonya was not trying to say that he should have paid for everybody, but Sheree does Sheree is a great gaslighter as well. She does this thing where when she is so clearly wrong in an argument or on the wrong side of history, she will flip it and make it seem like you are actually the problem. So what she does is she tells, in the after show, it's her, Marlo, and Sonia. And she tells them, I heard you two were the ones talking about Martell not paying for the bill. And Marlo is ready to drop it. Marlo's ready to move on. The producers have told them that you need to move on. Sonia, she kind of, I don't want to say Sonia baits her back into the conversation, but Sonia wasn't letting certain shit slide. And I understand that. I really do. So Sheree flips it and says, why? Because it was Sonia and Ralph there. Why would your husband want another man paying for his meal? Can I tell you, I hate shit like that. I hate shit like that. First of all, Ralph wasn't expecting him to pay for the meal, right? But I hate the, oh, why as a man are you expecting another man to pay for your meal? You invited me here. And it's not a whole like, oh, as a man, you shouldn't. No, like, please. You're putting the misogyny into it, and it's on purpose to try and make Ross and Sonia feel a type of way. And it worked, because they got into like a 15-minute argument about it on the after show. Even Marlo was trying to help them move on. Oh my goodness. Sheree and Martell can hang it up flat screen. They can hang it up flat screen at this point because we don't care, honestly, truly. We have one more episode left before the finale, I believe. And y'all know how I feel. It's time. It's time. The producers, the casting directors, everybody should have been, they should be doing what they need to be doing so that we don't have a long hiatus from Atlanta. The last thing I want to touch on really quickly, I only heard bits and pieces of Kenya's interview with Carlos King. He did an interview just like the one he did with Nene, you know, very tell-all-ish. The only thing I want to say is that Kenya mentions that she should have had a spinoff. She should have been granted her spinoff with her daughter. I will never doubt what Kenya has brought to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. The show would be completely different if she had not come on it. As far as a spinoff, the first thing I'll say is I think that had Kenya not ran off and married Mark Daly, without telling anybody and let Bravo cameras in, she might have gotten her spinoff. Second thing, if she would have gotten the spinoff, it would have been canceled within 2 to 3 seasons. I mean, for real. It's been proven time and time again that family spinoffs are not really something that we want to see on Bravo. People will watch it. People watch Don't Be Tardy for the Party for however many seasons that was on. It didn't mean the ratings were great. So what? You just wanted this show just to say you got it? Okay. We see what happened with Portia's family show. Yikes. I will not lie to you all. I didn't watch Roni last weekend. Listen, we are waist deep in Love Island. So that's where my focus has been. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I just kind of slipped up and forgot to watch the last episode. I'm still very interested. Don't y'all be taking this and running with it. Like, oh, see, no one's interested in the new Roni. I am. I had to get, there was a cause of recoupling. There was a recoupling and we have to get into it. These are such unserious islanders and I love it so much. I was having a good time until Scott showed up. We'll get into that in a second. KK walked back in by herself, did her little speech, and then immediately let Keenan tell her to sit back down. And she just went and got back with him. One thing I want to make clear, because y'all know I've been making the videos, doing the recaps. No one said, I can't speak for everyone. I'm not saying that I've never been in a bad relationship before. That would be an absolute lie. I am saying I've never done no shit like that. Okay. And the thing about KK that's so painful, and a couple of other people said this too. It's quite triggering if you've ever had a friend that's been in a really bad relationship and you've tried to help them out of it. Like it's a little triggering watching KK and Keenan. I'm not gonna lie, it really is, just from a friend perspective. It's quite literally one of the most wild things I've ever seen, because when we did our thing as America, as a country, a proper country, and got Keenan up out of that villa, KK got herself up out of that villa to follow up behind him. Okay, whatever, sure. But then she says, "You're perfect," to him. And I can't quite explain perfectly how ill that made me feel, because I think not 24 or 48 hours earlier than that, she saw exactly what went down in Casa and admitted herself that he didn't tell the full truth about that. I'm praying for her. I'm going to pray for her. I really am. Because I've never been that in love. Maybe I'm missing something. I'll put it on me. I'm missing something, right? The other big bombshell that was dropped in Love Island news this week is that Scott is in Love Island USA. I don't like it. It stinks. It reeks to me, if I'm being so completely honest with you all. And it has nothing to do with the him and Catherine of it all. I want my good sister, Catherine, to be happy, to live in abundance. And if I'm being so honest with y'all, I think that abundance exists away from Scottisha. I do. Okay? Because first things first, I will never, ever feel badly for writing for Catherine and defending her like I did. Because I knew in my heart of hearts that we were missing a lot of context and a lot of shit when it came to that season. But I can't go back there in UK. I cannot go back there. My good sister did her interview. She got her flowers. Scott came out of the villa, had her back. My issue with Scott coming on to USA is it's just thirsty. Like it's just so thirsty. Everybody's like, well, he's 22. He deserves to be on TV. Do you know how many people we could say deserve to be on TV? And like, if this really, really, truly was about love, is Scott moving to the US of A? It's not about that. Let's call a spade a spade. It's not about that. It's not about love. Is he coming to America? I'm sure his brother will type and let us know on fucking Twitter soon here, because he loves to do that. Whatever. Let me stay out of family business, but whatever. The issue that I have with it also is the fact that I do not trust the public to act accordingly. And I know the UK public and the US public are different, but there's a Venn diagram, and what I can say is the middle. So the similarities can really flirt with each other. I'll leave it there, all right? I don't trust the general public to act right when it comes to Scott, especially if it comes down to him being involved with another black woman. I'm going to be so honest with y'all. I'm going to be so very honest with y'all. I got on TikTok today. They're already making fan edits of him and Amani. We haven't even seen the episode yet. We've seen a clip of them sitting down at dinner together. Him sitting down with Cassie, he said the exact same things that he said when he was in the UK island. I want a girl that gives me a bit back. All them girls over in the... I'm just so annoyed. It's just like, okay, it feels like they're trying to make us feel like Scott is this Prince Charming. He's a 22-year-old dude doing 22-year-old dude things, okay? He's not some like extraordinary guy who's just above the rest. Like, he's a 22-year-old guy. And I just really think, like, if this were Zachariah, Mitch, Ty, Sammy, any other guy from Love Island, this season or past seasons, everybody would drag him. And honestly, truly, he is kind of getting dragged, if I'm being so serious. But I think it would be worse. Now, I can say this. The Scott Defense League, whichever one of y'all twisted the narrative and said it's actually not as embarrassing for Scott to go on twice as it was for Katie. Congratulations. Girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. You did your thing on that one. You really did, okay? You spun the fuck out of that one. It's like, okay, the season is over. Rest. I mean, good God. And I like Imani. I just don't... If she's not interested in Scott or whatever, I don't want people dragging her. Because I fought for Catherine. I'll fight for Imani too. Okay, they have a right to not be interested in that boy. And as we learned, Scott wasn't the Prince Charming that it was portrayed he was. So that's why I'm also confused to why everybody is acting as if he's going to come in here and be like a knight in shining armor. Now, compared to the men that we have in that villa now, he's set up to be leaps and bounds better than them. But it's just, for me, it's not giving what y'all think it is. That's just for me. I also have I'm not sure how I want to put this to where it is going to be received well, so I might as well just say it. I understand that Scott is interested in black women. We've seen that. I just don't like that it gives to me that just because Scott is interested in black women should be interested in him. We don't, like, do y'all understand what I'm saying? It's one of those things that was like, okay, are we going to give them a chance to say if they like this man or not? Or is it automatically like, oh, y'all know Scott likes black women, so they should like him? No. Black women got preferences too. Black women have choices too. Whatever. It's thirst. There's so many fan theories going around. Again, I don't like it. It reeks. Y'all acted a plum ass fool. People out here saying, oh, this is Scott's revenge for Casa. You actually have to let Casa go. He needs to let Casa go. The public needs to let Casa go. Because again, we learned that it was not what we were shown. He quite literally was telling Catherine he was going to explore every time a bombshell came in and when Casa happened. And I don't want to hear, I simply, I cannot hear, again, well, I still stood up there by myself. When you go on Love Island, you know that is a possibility. All I hear with my eardrums when he says that is I shouldn't have been standing up there by myself. He thinks he shouldn't have been standing up there by myself. When you go on Love Island, we know what Casa Amor brings. It brings some of my favorite week of TV. Mess. You know that there's a possibility that you could stand up there by yourself. And what I feel like he is saying is that he feels like he shouldn't have been stood up there by himself. But did you do what you needed for Catherine to make her feel secure so that you weren't standing up there by yourself? No, you didn't, because you admitted that. Everybody talking about this is his revenge. This is his revenge. How do you get revenge on somebody you're not with? Catherine's still on y'all's mind. But you swear to, you want Catherine to be over. Please rest. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to get into my Bergie theories because I said it on one of my videos, and sometimes the comment section will be a dumpster fire and I just don't feel like getting into it with people. Here's my theory on Bergie. And it's not even a full like conspiracy theory, so I don't want to make it sound like that. But when I say that I see holes in Bergie's story, it's just that, little holes, little untruths that they have told us. Let the producers tell it, let the show tell it. We would believe that Bergie worked at Dairy Queen, ain't never touched a girl in his life, doesn't even know how to give a girl a peck, all of this stuff. However, we keep getting these little Easter eggs. Like at first he said that he has only been, or he'd never been in a relationship. Then it was he was in a relationship for 10 months. First it was he had only, I think, slept with 2 girls. And then he's telling Taylor, I don't know how to cross that line into making things physical. Okay. And then it was, oh, he's the sweet little Dairy Queen manager who's so shy and blah, blah. But then he tells us he played college football for 3 years. Let me be so clear about that. I know that you can still be shy and be a football player. I can absolutely see that. It's just it's one of those things where I'm like, well, hold on a minute. And so apparently where he played, who he played for, it's not hard to be on the team. I'm not saying that I think it's hard. Bergie is in very good shape. I could tell that from the beginning. But it's the way that they try to portray him as if he's the opposite of an athlete, the opposite of like all of these things. Now, do I think that Bergie is up in, where is he from, Minnesota? Plowing through Minnesota girlies? No, I don't. I just don't think that he's as inexperienced as they would have had us to believe. And I think they're trying to get him that money. But y'all already know, for me, in Love Island USA, it's Team Shea Moisture. It's Team Shea Moisture. And I know I said lastly with the Bergie stuff, but lastly, I'm going to touch on Destiny. When I like somebody in these shows, a lot of the times, I feel like people mistake that for I want them to win. I like Destiny. She's not in a couple to win with anybody. I'm for damn sure not voting for Zay. Love you down, Destiny. I'm not voting for Zay. Zay, I never thought Zay liked Destiny. All of those Casa boys wanted their Villa visas. Okay, but I was actually shocked that Destiny brought Zay back. I really, truly was. Because I was not seeing it. And he played games. Everybody that says Destiny has a piss poor attitude, I don't think Destiny has a piss poor attitude. I think she's very frustrated. And I think that there have been times when she has displayed that frustration in not the best way. Excuse me. But the same way I felt about when Catherine said to Scott, like, well, when we know that movie night thing was taken out of context, like, oh, no one wanted you, blah, blah, blah. I feel like a lot of times on these reality TV shows, things are said and people, like, to us, the audience, it can sound harsh. And people want to start taking this moral high ground as if they have not said things to their partners, to people that they have dated, that if we heard it, wouldn't sound the best. And I know that a lot of y'all have, because you're behind closed doors. There's no camera on you. So, for example, with the whole Scott and Catherine and movie night thing, when she said, we found out when she said no one wanted you, she was actually repeating what Amber said, because the guys had asked her, what is she saying? What is she saying? What is she saying? And just so we're clear, we saw with our eyeballs and heard with our ears that Amber was the one that said, yeah, no one wanted him. This is my thing. If you have gone back and forth with somebody that you're dating or, did date, and they're like, oh, you moved on, blah, blah, and they've been telling you the whole time, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you guys are getting into a heated argument, you mean to tell me you're not going to say, okay, well, no one wanted you, so then what? When you think about the context and you think about it like that, please be for serious. Please be for serious. You've never heard anyone say, okay, no one wants your ass. Go ahead over there. Everybody wants to act like they're on this moral high ground that it's like, okay, let's open up your home. Let's put a Big Brother CCTV camera into your home and see what you say to your partner. Same thing when it comes to Destiny, when she was arguing with Zay. Now, do I think it was dramatic as fuck for her to be like, I don't care what you say, Zay. Yes, I do. But would I sit here and say I've been into it with somebody before and that they've been draining me and I've said, I don't care. I do not care what you say. I've absolutely done that. I've absolutely done that. I just feel like Destiny will have certain reactions to things and people will act as if they have never had that human reaction before, and that shit irritates the shit out of me. But am I going to be voting for my girly Destiny to win? No, babes, because she's just not in a couple that I care about. She's not in a couple I care about. But I was happy to see her on TV. I like her. She can get my little follow on Instagram, and I can't wait to see what she does, But we're going to go ahead and wrap up the weekly roundup this week. Clearly, I did not have a lot, again, because I skipped out on Roni. We will not have a weekly roundup next week because I will be in Vegas seeing Beyonce. So I can't wait to talk to y'all in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, everything that you were watching this week, and I'll talk to you then.